All right, guys, so how to create a percentage bar graph. So I'm going to read the definition on slide 3. Percentage bar graphs are a pictorial display of statistical data using percent in a bar graph that can be horizontal or vertical. So if I go back to slide 2, they're similar to pie graphs but are in a horizontal or vertical bar instead of a circle. So on the left side, you have a pie graph. It's in a circle. So each piece of the pie represents a percentage of data. So on the right side, this here is a bar graph because it's in a rectangle, it's in a bar. So again, it can be either vertical or horizontal. So let's look at our example. There are 20 students in Miss McGee's class. The students took a poll to know which is each student's favorite ice cream flavor. The rest of the poll are shown in the table. So on the right, we have our table. On the left side's our ice cream flavor, and the right side's the number of students. So it looks here that 10 students chose vanilla, 7 students chose chocolate, and 3 students chose strawberry. So our first step is to calculate the percentage for each flavor. So to do that, we're going to compare the part with a whole using a fraction. So we have to create a fraction for each ice cream flavor. So let's go to slide 4. Now, our fraction is going to look like this. Of course, there's always the numerator on top, the denominator on the bottom. The numerator on top is going to be the number for the favorite ice cream, and the bottom is going to be the total number of students. So she had 20 students in class, so if you add up these numbers, they must equal to 20. So 10 plus 17, 7 is 17, 7 plus 3 is 20. So always count your tally marks or your sum the number of your data, because if it's off, your percentages are going to be off. So vanilla is the favorite ice cream flavor of 10 students out of 20. So my fraction is going to be 10 over 20. Now, when we're converting a fraction to a percent, it's easier if you just look at the denominator. And 20 I can multiply by 5 to equal to 100. What you do to one side, do to the other. So 10 times 5 is 50. So now you have 50 over 100. Now remember, every time you have a fraction with a denominator of 100, that numerator is your percent. Okay, so let's look at chocolate. Chocolate is the favorite ice cream flavor of 7 students out of 20. So 7 students out of 20, my fraction is going to be 7 over 20. So again, look at the denominator. Ask yourself, can I multiply that number to equal to 100? And in this case, yes. 20 times 5 equals 100. What you do to one side, do to the other. So 7 times 5 is 35. So that means my percent is 35%. Okay, so do me a favor, pause the video and try strawberry on your own. When you're done, go ahead and come back. So let's check your work. Strawberry is the favorite ice cream flavor of 3 out of 20. So that means my fraction is 3 over 20. So again, I can multiply 20 by 5 to equal to 100. What you do to one side, do to the other. So 3 times 5 is 15. And so that means that my percent is 15%. Okay, so again, this is your first step, is to create your fractions and convert your fractions to a percent. Now, before you create your bar graph, you always check your work by adding up the percentages. They must equal to 100. If you get a decimal, it must round up to 100. So let's find the sum of the percentages. It was 50% plus 35% plus 15%. So I know 35 plus 15 is 50. 50 plus 50 is 100. So yes, it is correct. So if you add up your percentages and you don't get 100, or if your decimal doesn't round up to 100, then you did something wrong and you have to do your calculations over again. So now it's time to build our percent graph. So it's already drawn out here for you, but pretty much you're going to create a rectangle just as shown. And starting with your largest percent, which was 50, I'm going to start at 0, which would be on the left side. Oh, and notice that the percent bar is cut into tenths. So it's cut into 10 pieces. So 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, and so on. So you have to cut the bar into those 10%. And so I'm going to start at 0, and I'm going to cut the strip up to 50. So this 50% area represents my vanilla. Okay. Now you can go to the next largest, which is 35. And starting at 50, because that's where we left off on vanilla, I'm going to jump over to 85 because 50 plus 35 is 85. So this section right here represents chocolate. Now, the last piece was 15%. So starting at 85, I'm going to cut this into 15%, which stops at 100, which is correct because 50 plus 35 plus 15 equals 100. So now this little section represents strawberry. Okay. I hope you guys find this pretty simple. Let's do one more example. So the musical program in Garafias Junior High has 15 students in orchestra and 35 students in band. Okay, so orchestra has 15 students out of, so now we need to find our totals. So I'm just going to add up 15 plus 35, and that gives me 50. Okay, so another easy denominator to convert to 100. So that means my fraction is 15 out of 50. So we created our fraction. Now we need to convert our fraction to a percent. So look at our denominator. I can multiply 50 by 2 to equal to 100. What you do to one side, do to the other. So 15 times 2 is 30. So that's 30%. That was an easy one. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video and try the rest on your own. So make your fraction for band, find your percent, and then go ahead and find sum the percentages to make sure it equals to 100, and then create your bar graph. When you're ready, come back. If you need more help, then just follow me now. So band has 35 students out of, that's a little funky, sorry about that, out of 50. So that's 35 out of 50. So that's my fraction for band. So check your denominator. Can you multiply it to equal to 100? Yes, 50 times 2 is 100. What you do to one side, do to the other. So 35 times 2 is 70. So 70 out of 100, that is 70%. So the sum of all percentages, so let's add them up, make sure that it equals to 100. So 30% plus 70, yes, that does equal to 100, so our calculations are correct. Okay, so now that we have our percentages, let's create our percent bar graph. So starting at 0, and again, it's cut into 10%, so in tenths. So starting at 0, I'm going to cut this section all the way up to 70. Okay, so I know it's a little hard, guys. Whoops, I'm going to erase that. So this section right here, 70% of it represents band. And I'm just going to put a B. 30%, which starting at 70, all the way up to 100, because 70 plus 30 is 100. This is, I'm so sorry, not band. I'm sorry, orchestra. Yeah, we're correct. Okay, So there's our percent bar graph. Okay. So what I want you to do is work on example 2 by yourself. When you add this up, it might not equal to 100, so you're going to probably have to use top dog in the house. So go ahead and work on this on your own. Here are your answer choices A, B, and C. Once you're done with this part, submit your answer on the quiz link on the agenda on Echo. So if you go back to the agenda, right here where it says quiz, go ahead and submit your answer. It's just one question, that one question. And once you're done, you're going to go ahead and watch the assignment instructions. So you are going to create your own percentage bar graph by doing a survey on chips. So go ahead and watch this after you finish the quiz. If you have any questions, please let me know. We can schedule a Zoom meeting if needed, but I am available till 10 until you have to go to your other classes, okay? So let me know if you need any help. I'll be checking in as well.